don't you want to speak with me?
Oh, well, I'm planning this big conspiracy. First of all, I'm going to invade New Orleans. Then, I plan to conquer the Spanish territory in Mexico, and then sever the Mississippi Valley states from the Union, and then maybe combine that territory with the conquered Spanish territory, and then make an empire of my own out of those territories. And to top it all off, I plan a coup d'etat at Washington to overthrow the government of the United States.
Oh, wow. So when do you plan on going through with these plans?
Well, we're already raising a military force on the island of my financial mainstay, Armin has it. And yeah, his training is meant into a pretty powerful force. So I was wondering if we can have your support for the coup d'etat of Washington.
Yeah, you got my support.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Hi, I'm Aaron Burr.
Oh, hi. I'm the British Minister to America. So why do you want to see me?
Well, I'm planning this big conspiracy that involves committing treason against the United States. And first of all, I'm planning to invade New Orleans, and then conquer the Spanish territory, and then sever the Mississippi Valley states from the Union, and then combine that territory with the conquered Spanish territory into an empire of my own. And to top it all off, I plan a coup d'etat at Washington to overthrow the government of the United States.
Well...
And I was wondering if we could have the support of the British Navy for the invasion of the Spanish territory in Mexico.
Well... Okay, you have the support of the British Navy.
Thank you. We're in no physical condition to be engaged in military activity. We desperately need a transfer off the island. Signed, KFC William T. Eaton. P.S. In return for the transfer, I'm willing to provide you with information regarding the best way to invade New Orleans. Who the heck is KFC William T. Eaton?
William T. Eaton is the leader and spokesman of the volunteers you recruited from your trip to the Southwest, sir.
Apparently he can't run from here to here without collapsing of heat exhaustion. What the heck is going on Blennerhassett's Island?
I think we should hold this conversation in private.
That won't be necessary. I can handle the situation.
Don't interrupt me, Lieutenant. I'm still your superior officer.
I'm yours, James. I want to know what we're going to do about this situation.
I think they should be transferred off the island immediately.
They're that bad, eh? Yes. Let's just transfer the whole unit off the island. In fact, the conspiracy. Let's just transfer the whole conspiracy off the island. Harmon, go out and tell your men they're packing their bags. Amir?
Yes, sir.
Get the president on the line. We're surrendering our position in New Orleans.
Wait, sir.
Wait. Don't just get the president in. Maybe we should consider this person. Dismissed.
Thank you, sir.
Maybe we as officers have a responsibility to make sure that the men and women in charge with the coup d'etat of our government are trained professionals. Yes, I believe I read that somewhere. Eaton stays where he is. We're going to train them, lads. Armin? If Eaton and his men don't make 4646 on your next proficiency and conduct report, then I'm going to blame you, and I'm going to kill you.
Yes, sir.
I think that's a mistake, sir.
You know, James, I think I will have that word in private with you. Excuse me.
Sir.
What do you think of Blennerhassett?
I don't think my opinion of
I think
Blennerhassett
he's pretty much a weasel myself. But he's an awfully good officer. And in the end, we see eye to eye on the best way to run a conspiracy. We're in the business of coup d'etat, and your suggestion, transferring all these men off the island, may not be the American way. If we're going to invade New Orleans, conquer the Spanish territory, or overthrow the government in Washington, we're going to need military strength. Sit down. We go back a while, but we've decided that I'm in charge of this conspiracy. Now, if that's a source of tension or embarrassment, I don't give a schmuck. We're in the business of coup d'etat, James. Don't ever question my orders of running up another officer again.
I'm writing to inform you of a conspiracy to commit treason led by my friend Aaron Burr. I was an accomplice in the conspiracy, but I am now having doubts about it, and that is why I'm writing. I've done all that I can to bring the truth to light. Enclosed is a deciphered letter from Aaron Burr, detailing the specifics of the conspiracy. I want you to know that I am neither proud of what I have done or what I am doing. Signed, Lieutenant Colonel James Wilkinson.
Aaron Burr, you're under arrest under the federal government of the United States.
Wilkinson, you traitor!
No, you're the one who committed treason.
All rise. The Honorable Chief Justice John Marshall presiding. We convene for the preliminary hearing of the trial of Aaron Burr, charged with treason against the United States of America and the misdemeanor of planning an expedition against Spanish territory.
Aaron Burr, how do you plead?
Not guilty of all charges, and I request to be released on bail for the misdemeanor charge of
On what grounds?
insufficient evidence for treason imprisonment.
Your Honor, I object in motion to commit the defendant on treason and misdemeanor charges. The court will deliver its opinion after a short recess. The court rules that the defendant will be released on bail. Before we could hold the defendant for the grand jury, the government would have to furnish a good reason to believe that these crimes were committed. The overt act of the treason is only subject to suspicion. Months have elapsed since the fact did occur, if it ever did. Weeks have elapsed since the Supreme Court has declared the need for proof of the fact. Why is it not yet proved? The bail will be set at $10,000 for the misdemeanor. We will begin trial on May 22nd. The court is adjourned.
All rise.
Mr. Hay, you may make your opening statement.
Thank you, Your Honor. Treason is defined in Article 3, Section 3 of our Constitution as levying war against the United States, and the testimony of two witnesses to the same overt act is required for a conviction. The defendant here has without a doubt committed this crime with treasonous intentions. After arranging to raise an armed force by employing a mode red on the island of his financial supporter, Hassan Blennerhassett, Colonel Burr planned to use this military strength to invade the city of New Orleans, along with other threatening activities. Although this alone is enough to convict him of treason, will prove much more, thanks to the information boldly provided by Colonel James Wilkinson, the savior of the American people from civil war.
Thank you, Mr. Hay. Mr. Wickham?
Whether or not my client's intentions or ambitions involved treason is irrelevant, because the actual act was never committed. As the soldiers for the invasion were being trained, Colonel Burr was 200 miles away, not even present at the place where the levying of war took place. Not only could he have not been involved in an overt act of war, he also discouraged it. However, Mr. Hay over there, he's gonna put a little magic show. He's gonna amaze you, dazzle you, and impress you with technical sounding words like mode red. You will have no proof, mind you. None. But it's gonna be entertaining.
Thank you. Mr. Hay, you may call your first witness.
Prosecution calls Colonel Morgan. Colonel Morgan. friends with the defendant, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you had a conversation with him that struck fear in your heart for this country. Is that right?
Right.
Can you tell us about that?
Yes, well, I was just talking about how fine our country was when he suddenly interrupted me saying, in less than 5 years, you'll be totally divided from the Atlantic States. I live in the west between the Allegheny Mountains and Ohio. Then he went on a big speech about the weakness and imbecility of our federal government and how easy it would be to overthrow it.
What was your reaction?
I saw danger in what I heard, so I met with 2 local judges. We wrote a letter to President Jefferson.
Your witness. Cross-examination.
Did you ever talk to Colonel Burr again after he returned to Blennerhassett's Island to organize whatever?
No.
So you have no knowledge of whether or not he had actually engaged in activities that he spoke of?
No.
Thank you. No further questions.
Hey, you may call your next witness.
We call William Eaton. Mr. Eaton, you were formerly involved in the defendant's conspiracy. Is that right?
Yes.
Who is the main authority of the conspirators that ordered the armed force on Blennerhassett's Island to be raised and trained? You looking at those cookies? Go ahead, have some. Indulge yourself. Go ahead. Now, we can do this the easy way or the hard way. Who ordered the armed force to be trained on Blennerhassett's Island? Excuse me? I'm sorry. Never mind. Witness is excused.
Your next witness, Mr. Hay.
Prosecution calls Colonel James Wilkinson. Colonel Wilkinson, you were formerly an accomplice for Colonel Burr and his conspiracy, correct?
Yeah, but the whole thing got so big, so treacherous, so deeply threatening to the whole nation and perhaps the whole cause of democracy that I had to expose it.
Like Morgan, you also have written letters to President Jefferson about Burr's treason, right?
Yep.
What was revealed in these letters?
I told about how we met together, me, Burr, and Blennerhassett, and that we were ordered by Aaron to do things that involved possible treason against the United States. You see, there were these volunteers that were willing to help out in any way possible, except in military ways because of their weak physical condition. But Aaron told us to train the men into a powerful armed force for military use in the conspiracy. They were to be used to invade New Orleans. After that, maybe expediting the Spanish territory, and then maybe even a coup d'etat at Washington. See, Aaron had pretty big ambitions. It involved possibly combining conquered Spanish territory in Mexico with the severed Mississippi Valley states into an empire of his own. I revealed all of this in my letter to Jefferson.
Do you know what a mode red is?
Why, yes. MODE, Red. Mobilization of Operational Delinquent Expedition. Red stands for blood. It's when some rebel forces raise an army for the purpose of overthrowing some government.
What is an example of a possible mode red?
Well, let's see. Say if the southern states all of a sudden wanted to secede from the Union for some stupid reason like, I don't know, slavery or something. Then to secede and call themselves the Confederacy or something, and then they need to raise military strength to fight for their right to secede. This raising of military strength would be a mode red.
Was what Colonel Burr ordered you to do on the island a mode red?
I would say so, sir.
Was it or not?
Yes.
Thank you. Your witness.
Colonel, we have here a copy of a transfer order with your signature on it. Now, your pen says you had the volunteers transferred off the island. But now you say with your own mouth that you were ordered to train them.
Yeah, well, that transfer order is phony. Aaron made me sign it after he wrote it up.
So with your signature, you are lying about the transfer.
I guess.
And you expect us to believe that you are not lying now?
Object! Sustained. Watch yourself, counsel.
No further questions.
Colonel Wilkinson, you are excused. Mr. Hay, your next witness.
We rest our case, Your Honor.
Very well. The court will adjourn until tomorrow morning, when we will start the defense witness.
All rise.
Mr. Wickham, you may call your first witness.
Your Honor, before we call our witnesses, I'd like to make a motion for the subpoena requiring the President to supply certain papers he received from Wilkerson regarding the case.
Any objections?
The prosecution does not see the materiality of that evidence, Your Honor. But we do acknowledge the authority of the court to issue the subpoena. However, the President may assert his executive privilege of withholding papers. Considering the materiality of the evidence, I suggest we do not challenge the President.
The court does see the materiality of this evidence for the defense. And this should supersede any claims from the President of executive privilege. In addition, while the court undoubtedly has the authority to compel the President's presence in court for relevant testimony, the need for such a command is not apparent right now. Thus, the subpoena for the suppliance of relevant papers for the President will be rewarded.
Thank you, sir.
Now you may call your first witness.
Defense calls Colonel Aaron Burr. Now, you admit to being part of a fairly ominous conspiracy, correct?
Yes.
Do you consider the purposes of the conspiracy to be treasonous?
Possibly, but I have not committed a concrete act of treason to this day.
Did you know the mode red that occurred on the island of your accomplice, Herman Blennerhassett?
No. I specifically discouraged the practice. Those men, the volunteers on the island, wrote to me and told me that they were in no physical condition to be engaged in military activity. I intended for those volunteers to be used for purposes other than military.
Thank you. Your witness.
Would you like to cross-examine the witness, Mr. Hay?
Colonel Burr, after he had recruited the volunteers, he had a meeting with your two main men. Is that right?
Yes.
And what was the subject of that meeting?
I told Wilkinson to have those volunteers transferred off the island immediately.
Why?
I thought they might be in danger.
Grave danger?
No, in danger of being trained for military purposes.
You mean in danger of receiving a mode red?
That's right.
What else did you discuss at that meeting?
I told Blennerhassett that those men on the island were not to be touched.
And you were clear on that order?
Crystal.
Any chance he ignored the order?
Ignored the order?
Any chance he forgot about it?
No.
Any chance he came out of that office and said, the old man is wrong?
You ever served in the federal government?
No.
Ever been involved in a political coup?
No, sir.
Ever put your life in your country's hands? Asked it to put its life in yours?
No, sir.
We follow orders, son. We follow orders or people die. Are we clear?
Yes, sir.
Are we clear?
Crystal. Colonel Burr, I have just one more question for you. If you gave an order that the men on the island were not to be touched, and your orders are always followed, then why would they be in danger? Why would it be necessary to transfer them off the island?
Those men were of substandard physical condition. They were being transferred because...
That's not what you said before. You said they were being transferred because they were in danger.
Yes.
You said they were in danger. I said grave danger, and you said
Yes,
in
that's
danger
what
of
I
being
said.
trained. I can have the court reporter read back to you.
I know what I said. I don't have to have
Why
it
the
back
two
to you.
orders, Colonel?
Sometimes men take matters into their
No,
own
you
hands.
made it clear just a moment ago that men never take matters into their own hands. Your men follow orders or people die. The men on the island shouldn't have been in any danger at all, should they have been, Colonel?
You snotty little...
Your Honor, I'd like to request...
I'd like an answer to the question, Judge.
The court will wait for an answer.
If he gave an order that the men on the island were not to be touched, why would it be necessary to have them transferred? Blennerhassett did the mode red, didn't he? Because that's what you told him to do.
Object, Your Honor.
And when it went bad, you cut the guy's loose.
Your
You're
Honor.
looking to sign the foreign
I'll
transfer
put a
order.
stop to this.
Damn it, Hayes.
You doctored the letters. You corresponded
Please do
now.
stop the
Now I'm
attack.
asking you, Colonel Burke, did you order the mode red?
You don't have to answer that question.
I'll answer the question. You want answers?
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth.
You can't handle the truth. Son, we live in a country that has walls, and those walls have to be broken down by men with guns. Who's gonna do it? You, Lieutenant Martin? I have a greater ambition than you could possibly fathom. You weep for this union, and you curse my name. You have that luxury. You have the luxury of not knowing what I know. That the severance of the Mississippi Valley states from the Union could probably save lives. And my existence, while grotesque and incomprehensible to you, saves lives. You bring me to trial and prosecute me because my conspiracy is a threat to this flimsy union. I have neither the time nor the inclination to explain myself to one who rises and sleeps under the blanket of the very freedom that I provide, and then question the matter in which I provide it. I'd rather you just said thank you and went on your way. Otherwise, I suggest you pick up a weapon and stand a post. Either way, I don't give a darn what you think you're entitled to.
Did you order the mode red?
I did the job.
Did you order the mode
You're
red?
gosh darn right I did.
The witness is excused.
All rise.
In a moment, the jury will be dismissed to a deliberating room where they will decide on a verdict. Before you go, however, you must keep a number of things in consideration. Realize that this trial is a direct challenge to our country's constitution. Whether or not the definition of treason put forth by our founding fathers will hold firm is in your hands right now. To clarify the definition of levering war, I should or would say to you that it must involve an exhibition of force. Without a doubt, the defendant Aaron Burr has encouraged and in fact ordered such an action. However, the intent of treason is not for you to decide. It is the overt act that is the subject of this trial. There have been many who participate in this conspiracy to commit treason, but the accused must perform the act of treason in order to be found guilty. It is up to you to decide whether the evidence presented to you proves this fact. The jury will now be dismissed for deliberation.
All rise.
The jury has reached a verdict, sir.
The charge of treason against the U.S., the jury presents not guilty. For the charge of expedition against the Spanish territory, the jury decides not guilty.